It's Friday. That means it's happy hour, and I got the professor with me, Armando Lara, professor at UC Berkeley, columnist for Sprewell Was Right. By the way, Armando, before we get started, did you get a chance to see the episode last week with Bruce Bernstein, former ESPN executive and producer, who it works apparently, or like his most recent experience was working with PJ Carlissimo, and he was going off about how PJ was great, and I had to bring up, I'm like, by the way, he didn't like the name of your column, but he said that in jest. He was laughing. How are you doing, brother? Happy Friday.
I'm doing good, man. And that guy liked PJ because he took him to dinner. Is what I got from that conversation.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a personal friendship. Yeah, it was nothing to do with the on the court stuff. Look, this Warriors thing has reached, like, it doesn't seem to stop reaching levels of insanity. And I think we're going to find a resolution this weekend. We're going to explain what I mean. I had a conversation, multiple conversations with sources behind the scenes, and the picture is very clear in terms of where the Warriors are at, what Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, and Jimmy Butler's role is in all this. They do have one. And who is to blame ultimately for this whole mess? There's one person. I now know with certainty there is just one person who is messing this whole thing up, and we're going to break it down. Armando, you ready?
I'm ready, man.
All right, brother. It's Friday, so feel good about that, folks. Maybe you're watching this on a Saturday. That's just as good. Maybe it's better, maybe it's worse, but it's damn close to the same amazing feeling of freedom. This is the Golden.
They always find something to nitpick, and that's because there's expectations for us to win. Leave me alone this summer.
Let's go. In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up.
For the last drag out long part. Friday. Welcome to the Golden Days. You can follow Armando Lara, columnist for Sprewell Was Right, professor at UC Berkeley, recently voted the #1 public school in the country, on Threads at Mando_man10. You can follow me, Cyrus Saatsaz, on Threads and Instagram at Dog Wild, on Twitter at Surf Journalist, the program on both platforms at Golden Days Pod. And the program is presented by FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Believe and Golden Days. Armando, can you believe that it is Friday, September, is it 26th? And media day for the Warriors is supposed to be Monday, September 29th, coinciding with the start of training camp. I have no idea if they're going to hold media day Monday. They might postpone it because there is no resolution yet with the Jonathan Kuminga standoff, which has been going on for 3 months now. This is pure lunacy. Before we get into some interesting tidbits and facts I learned, how are you doing, man? Any new feelings that you have pertaining to this hold off, to the standoff? Anything on your mind before we get into
man. We're gonna get into it later, but one, I think JK is the man. I think he should take the qualifying offer. You know, be a man, take the qualifying offer.
Let's start there. Let's start there, because the qualifying offer, again, this is the basically the nuclear option. This is Jonathan Kuminga telling the Golden State Warriors, "F you, I'm out." And I'm sorry, man. I don't like specifically calling out specific media members by name on this show, but Tim Kawakami deserves some scorn for some of the crap he's been peddling the last 2 days. I saw him title, I think, a podcast, the bright side of the QO. Like, he tried to put a positive spin on that. The guy has literally turned into a mouthpiece for the Golden State Warriors. It's embarrassing. He then went on Twitter and called Jonathan Kuminga a backup player, saying, "I can't believe this thing's dragging out because of a backup player." Never mind the fact that only 1 out of 30 coaches in the NBA would make Jonathan Kuminga a backup. It's absolutely absurd. I want to make one thing very clear. That man does not have sources around the NBA. So when he tells you that he talked to people around the league, it's most likely his neighbor who follows the NBA, and he asked him for his opinion, and when he's feeding him all the information to begin with. TK, look, man, what you've been doing the last 48 hours with the pro warrior spin, the pro Kerr spin. It's embarrassing, dude. Like, you used to be someone who would actually stand up to these teams, who would at least portray a perception of independence. That's long gone, man. And that deserves calling out, because I'm seeing both sides using the media to try and score points here with negotiations coming down to the wire. That qualifying offer would be an absolute death blow for the Golden State Warriors this season. And I'm going to tell you specifically why, besides the fact that Kuminga would not have a no trade clause, besides the fact that he's an unrestricted free agent after the season, if that happens. I will tell you this with 99% certainty. If Jonathan Kuminga signs that qualifying offer, he's going to be on his own agenda. And not just his own agenda, meaning like he's going to focus more on points. He's going to focus more on just anything that makes himself look good for unrestricted free agency the next offseason, meaning he's going to be checked out. He is not going to be all in on a world championship ethos. He's also probably going to shut his season down halfway through. 40, 50 games into the season, if he's had a handful of really good games, he's not going to play anymore. He's going to find a reason to shut his season down and focus on unrestricted free agency. If Jonathan Kuminga signs that qualifying offer, this is devastating news for the Golden State Warriors. Good news is I'm going to explain why. Hopefully it's not going to get to that. But Armando, what are your thoughts on just the idea? Because I know you're rooting for JK to do that because it would ultimately stick it to the Warriors. If you're a Warriors fan, I don't think we want that generally, because I don't want the Warriors to get screwed over. I think this is a legitimate window they have to accomplish something special this season. The qualifying offer would be a disaster. Your thoughts?
Dude, okay. JK, I'm rooting for you to take the qualifying offer as a Warriors fan, because what the Warriors are doing, it ain't winning basketball. And dude needs to get to it. On any other team, this guy is a max level player. If he's in the East, he's getting lifted up as the next one of the next young guys if he's in the East. So like what they're doing to him is not, you don't squeeze talent like that. So I'm rooting for it. It's not about his own agenda. It's like, I'm not getting hurt for this team that has
exactly
like dog, excrement. And in addition, you think other teams are even going to want to play ball in a trade negotiation with him as an unrestricted free? It's like, why would the Kings put anything on the table for a guy? Even if he would waive the no trade clause, why would they do that when they could just sign him in the offseason? And it ain't to get off DeMar DeRozan and sign JK without giving up any kind of assets. Like the Kings are looking at this like down the why it's kind of like, remember when the Knicks traded for Carmelo when he was going to be a free agent? Like, why would you do that? That's the dumbest thing that has ever happened. So
you're absolutely right. Now,
like, he's just going to be sitting there, and it's going to be so awkward. There's going to be so much losing. They got nobody to play when these old guys, run out of steam after the first 10 games of the season. And the reason I'm rooting for it is because it's going to be more interesting than loser ball. It's going to be way more interesting than seeing Kuminga play 20 minutes, 3 minutes with the best players, and then 15 minutes with 3 guards and just loser ball all over the place and then get blamed for it. It's going to be way more interesting to see the drama, to see Kerr squirm, to see Lacob try to spin it. And then all of a sudden, Kawakami's talking about the upside of QA. I would love to see all that. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. I'm watching either way.
And so the qualifying offer is, and I saw someone in the chat mention there's no way in hell Kuminga would take that. Oh, he's got insurance lined up. So if he accepts the qualifying offer and worst case scenario, an injury does happen, he actually has an insurance policy for that. He's already made $25 million as a player for the Golden State Warriors, not including what he would make this season with the qualifying offer. Dude is from the Congo, where poverty. It's the Congo is one of the 10 most impoverished nations in the world. The guy knows humility. The guy knows how to live without means. If you can follow what I'm trying to say here, I don't think in this situation this is about money. They're so far past that. Jonathan Kuminga at this point is all about what's just, about what's right. He's taking a stand on principle. I respect that, side note. So for the folks saying there's no chance in hell, you're going to be prepared for a very rude awakening if Joe Lacob plays hardball, and that leads to the next revelation that I've learned, and this is a big one. People, some people wonder, is it Mike Dunleavy Jr. maybe screwing up the negotiations? Is it maybe Kuminga himself or his agent screwing up the negotiations? Why are the players of stepping up for JK in these why isn't Stephen Curry and Draymond Green of being vocal about supporting Kuminga? And I'm going to address that in just a second too, because I got some information there. There's only one person handling all of these negotiations on the Warrior side. There's only one person who is making these calls on that third year being a team option or a player option. There's only one dude calling all the shots, Joe Lacob. This is a Joe Lacob mess. And I've told you folks this before, and I'll say it again. A couple years ago when Stephen Curry actually had to make a little stink about Lacob not giving him a 5th year on his contract extension, when I first learned that was eye-opening to me. That made me realize Joe Lacob's the type of person who is very shrewd in any type of negotiation. He doesn't care who you are. He's not going to give money away. And in my opinion, he's going very overboard here in terms of that third season and not wanting to guarantee it, because congratulations, you've dragged this thing out where training camp is supposed to start Monday. Media day is supposed to be Monday. The team is holding a private workout right now and again, we're going to get into that in just a second in terms of more specifically what the veterans are thinking about all this, because I got some information there. But Joe is the one holding all the cards, and Joe is directly involved in all this. Mike Dunleavy Jr. is not involved in terms of the years, the dollars.
Wow.
To be honest, by the way,
wow.
And my dear friend Connor Letourneau, we were talking last night a little bit. I love reaching out to him sometimes just to get some perspective as the former Warriors beat reporter. And he made me laugh because he was like, has anybody had an easier job this entire summer than Mike Dunleavy Jr.? GM of the Golden State Warriors, you're making what, $1 million a year? I have no idea what his salary is, but basically for 3 months, what has he done? Like, what has Mike Dunleavy Jr. done for 3 months other than just chill on a beach? And I'm sure he scouted some players or something, but has anybody had an easier summer job than Mike Dunleavy Jr. for the Golden State Warriors? He traded down in the draft from 1 second-round pick to 2 second-round picks, and then basically put his feet up and has been chilling for 3 months, collecting nice paychecks. I thought that was a funny riff because there was a lot of truth to that. So bravo to Connor Letourneau for that funny thought that he had for a second. But besides that, that was a revelation that I learned, that I can report as fact, that there's only one person behind all of these holdups, the shrewd negotiating, the lack of money being offered, and that is Joe Lacob. Your thoughts?
Side, so by the way, chat, I've heard the sources, and let me tell you, what Sai's telling you is legit. That's legit behind the scenes stuff. Sai, I just want to ask you, when you hear stuff like this, with all this speculation, all this media talking about it's JK's fault, or why aren't they doing this, to get clarity behind the scenes? I mean, what is that feeling like for you, just straight as someone who does this every day and thinks about it a lot? For me, it's crazy.
When I was in my 20s, this stuff was I would get starstruck. I mean, dude, I'm deep in my 40s now. Armando, I don't know how old you are, but at a certain point in life, you kind of just stop being amazed by the craziness and you just do a job. It is interesting, and there is some privilege to learning this stuff. I mean, but at the same time, it's a job, man. We're all human beings. I'm not special being the one reporting this. Stephen Curry is one of the very few people on the planet that I do think is special, because no one else can do what he does. The greatest shooter in the history of the game. But dude, my approach, my perspective is always, who the hell am I? Who the hell is anyone? We're all human beings. We're made out of cells, and we're just trying to survive in this world. But it is fun. It is fun, Armando, if that answers your question.
Man, I mean, you're right in the middle of hearing it. So that's freaking cool. I mean, kudos to you. And you have reported on this stuff for years now. Way before, I remember when Kuminga, a couple years ago, you had reports before some of the ESPN guys.
Yeah, we've broken some news here. Like we broke, and I'm proud of this. I broke before anyone else a good 12 hours. Broke the news that Bob Myers was leaving. Broke the news that Jonathan Kuminga was pissed with Steve Kerr even before Shams reported. Yeah, we've broken a few tidbits here. That's some of what we're aiming for, but look, man, people chirp, right? And sometimes those get into my ears, and I'm lucky in that sense. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Joe, man? Just basically like, dude, he's the one. He's in charge. Like I'm now it's no longer disputable. Like there's no question in my mind who's literally pressing all the buttons. Right. It's one person. It's Joe Lacob. And at the moment, he is the one telling Jonathan Kuminga and his representation, third year is a team option, not a player option. Yeah, right. That's kind of crazy.
I think it's so kind of opposite from what the local media has been reporting. Like, oh, Kuminga, it's the only reason that Kuminga's even around is because of Lacob. Like, just literally like it's some crazy guy up in a tower that nobody can communicate with. It's so stupid. Like, I've always known the case that Kuminga's fans in the organization was more than just one guy. The front office has been split. That's been the case for a while now. But Sai, I don't know if you'll indulge me, but I got something to say to Joe Lacob, because when I heard that you had this leak, like, to me, there's like a small percentage chance Lacob is going to hear what I'm about to say right now. Like, there's a small chance, and my only dream for like the last 4 years is like, give me 5 minutes alone with Joe Lacob and we will get this coach out of here. Me and my cousin, we will convince Joe Lacob to save the Warriors. That's the only reason why I do this. I don't get paid. Nobody gives me any money for this. I do this just because I want to save the Warriors and get Steph Curry a fifth career, get him away from this system and get him a fifth ring. Dude, so Joe Lacob, I'm here to tell you, man, you are at a fork in the road. This is the fork in the road. Now, I don't know if you're trying to sell the team, which is a whole nother story. You're trying to do 2015 Kobe Bryant, just cash the checks, sell $20 coffees with Jimmy Butler, get on a Draymond podcast, make some money, sell the tickets to the Peninsula fans. That's all good. But if you're trying to win, you got two paths in front of you. And what you're doing right now, it ain't the winning path. It's the go home in a body bag path at the end of the play-in tournament path. It's the lay it all out on the floor, old guys are injured path. So Kuminga, the route to winning is to pay Kuminga the bag. Pay him so much that the coach is forced to play this guy 30-plus minutes a night and 20 minutes with the best players, with Steph, Draymond, and Jimmy Butler, and to unleash the wings. It don't matter who else is on the court at that point. And if you can pay him enough, if you have the vision to do that, then we can win. If not, if you're going to pay him this deal and make him look like he lost, the coach is going to do what he's been doing, what he did last year. We already seen it. We already know what's going to happen. They're going to start the season and they're going to say, we're trying JK out, but not really try. They're going to be playing him 3 minutes with the best players and then say it's not working and then give up on it and go back to 3 guards and do the whole loser thing all over again and then blame him. And you have a fork in the road. Which way are you going to go? And Sai, I got one more piece of this, but I'll let you. I don't want to.
No, go ahead. Unless you think it's better to wait, but otherwise, go ahead.
So we always are on here complaining about. This is what I'm thinking about when you were kind of teasing this to me about Joe Lacob. That like we complain about that Steve Kerr throws things at the wall. He throws his coaching is just literally combinate, throw it out, see what sticks. Yo, I'm starting to think actually that's from the top. Like the Warriors front office, it's kind of like they talk about optionality and keeping like the like let's just keep our options open. Let's only make decisions when we can. That is actually just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. And they're trying to do that with this third year. In 3 years, we want to have the option to have JK or not, or pivot. But I think that I'm starting to realize, this is what I've thought about now. I'm starting to realize that actually that's loser mentality. Because when we talk about making good decisions as an organization, and this is business, this is as a chair of an academic department, you need a vision for what you think is going to be winning business, right? You don't just say, let's go where the current takes us or what's the best option in front of us. You actually need a theory of the world. And the theory of the world of winning basketball in 2025 is elite wings who play defense and magnify each other. That's the vision of the world. What you got going on here of just throwing shit at the wall, and the way to connect this is, okay, so let's keep the optionality for the third season for Kuminga. So we, all this kind of stuff to keep our options open. That's throwing shit at the wall. And if you had a theory of the world that told you wings win in the NBA, it would lead you to believe actually it's a good decision to sign him. We actually want to keep him on the cheap. And actually, if we give him the player option, if he's so good and he needs a max deal, we could extend him and keep him. Like that's where I'm starting to think actually maybe this like throw shit at the wall is actually straight from the top. So Lacob, let's, you have a choice here. Are you going to control this, what's going on, the loser system, or are you going to play winning basketball? That's throw your crap against the wall to see what sticks mentality. I maybe Joe also rolls with that, but I can tell you with certainty, Steve Kerr, that a lot of that is him. That is his ethos. If he doesn't know for sure who he's going to roll with, like meaning if it isn't Steph, if it isn't Dre, if it isn't Jimmy Butler, that's his mindset. Throw some crap against the wall, see what sticks around Stephen Curry, who always saves the day. I can tell you this with certainty. Again, I learned a lot of shit here, man. And if people have questions in the chat, throw them out. Kuminga does not have a personal beef with Steve Kerr. Like the relationship between those two is actually copacetic. There are no hard feelings. Jonathan Kuminga does not think the minutes restrictions, the DNPs, like he's not taking any of that personally. Does it frustrate him? Yes. Does he think that Steve Kerr has it out for him? No. And if Kuminga gets paid, if he gets this 3 year $75 million with that third year a player option and not a team option, he will happily settle into whatever role Steve Kerr gives him. And a huge reason for this, and I don't know why I haven't thought of this premise sooner, because it's been out there for anyone to discuss, but Jonathan Kuminga has been playing essentially for a new contract for 2+ years now. He's a young kid who has had no guarantees, no contract offers that represent a realistic choice for Kuminga. I heard some numbers. Here's a number that I heard, and please don't aggregate this or report it as fact, but I heard it from a pretty good source that what the Warriors offered Jonathan Kuminga a year ago in terms of contract extensions was 4 years, $65 million, which again, a year ago, $65 million, not a lot. That translates to a little over $15 million a year. That's pretty much what Moses Moody's getting now. It was an insane lowball offer. So of course, Kuminga rejected it. And so he's been playing for a contract, for that security for 2+ years. And so if he gets this deal that he actually wants, for once, he's not going to go out there fighting for his future, right? He's not going to be wondering where he's playing next or how much he's going to get paid next. People behave differently when they have security behind them, right? And this plays along to your point about business structures, organizational structures, and how to manage a team, making sure people are happy, right? Well, make the kid happy. He'll play whatever role you want. You want him to be Sean Marion? He'll be Sean Marion. You want him to be Aaron Gordon? He'll be Aaron Gordon. But give him some security so that he's not playing for a new deal on top of trying to play basketball for the Warriors. And it's just the way the Warriors have treated him up until this point. It's egregious, man. It's so wrong on so many levels. Now, I'm going to talk about in just a second here. Do you have any thoughts on that, by the way? Because again, that's just something that it's no, briefly, like, dude, when you play ball, like everybody says like mentality and comfort matters. And like, when you're playing in a situation where the coach is telling you to do one thing and you do it, you still get benched. And then sometimes you disobey the coach and it works out. And then the coach takes credit for it in the press conference afterwards. Like that doesn't feel good. And when you don't have the contract, when you know that you're being kind of set up, right? Like, everything. That's why I have no doubt that as soon as Kuminga gets a green light to shoot, like when he's finally like, hey, dude, we want you taking 6 threes a game. Just let it fly, bro. Like, it's gonna go. I've seen it when he's had that. He actually shoots really well. I saw that with Jordan Poole. Like, when you're looking over your shoulder, both, in sort of your meta, like with the contract and with the coach, the next play down the court, like to think that's not going to affect your shot is you've just never played ball before.
Yeah.
So.
And we got in the chat, for example, Pete Nugent is bringing up a YouTube video. Nice timing, by the way, for B-ball breakdown. And I did call that fool out immediately on Twitter today because he published this video. Again, beautiful timing, right? As in the middle of contract negotiations, bashing Kuminga, accusing him of being a player that does not fit in Steve Kerr's system. And B-ball breakdown, dude, anyone who thinks that guy is some savant, that guy's some genius, he's a Steve Kerr ass kisser. He's someone who like literally would put Steve Kerr on a pedestal if the pedestal would present itself. And what he doesn't take into account with Steve Kerr's coaching, and again, I've literally pushed back on that guy countlessly because that isn't the first video he published criticizing Kuminga. And I've watched one of those videos, and that was enough for me to go, this guy's just has no clue what he's talking about. He makes videos that look cool, but in terms of that translating to objectivity, reality, hell no. I saw one video he did where he blamed Kuminga for do you remember that game last year where Wiggins, and I know Wiggins is your boy, so maybe you remember this even more. It was like a late game situation where I think Kuminga passed it to Wiggins, or Kuminga was open and the clock ran out, and Wiggins. What was this? Do you remember that? It was an end of game situation where Wiggins screwed up, and this B-ball breakdown guy who claims he used to be a coach blamed Kuminga because Kuminga apparently didn't roll to an open spot quick enough to get a pass for the shot. Do you know what I'm talking about, Armando? Do you remember this game or no?
No, I remember the defensive breakdown where he didn't help after Wiggins got blown.
That's what it was. It was that. Thank you. It was the defense. Did you blame Kuminga on that play?
No,
he did.
No.
Okay, this B-ball breakdown guy did.
All those guys did.
That just gives you the mentality of this idiot who's going on YouTube blaming Kuminga when that was Wiggins' defensive assignment. He has an anti-Kuminga pro-Kerr bias. So take whatever that guy's publishing and shove it up your ass, because I'm not going to take it seriously for a second. So Peter, I'm sorry, man. I just don't respect that dude whatsoever, and I've seen enough evidence to know why. Memo 2607 writes, Kuminga doesn't rebound, defend, or pass. Bullshit. His rebounding numbers alone, there's actually a statistic that goes completely against whatever you're trying to say here. Steve Kerr himself routinely assigns Jonathan Kuminga to the best offensive player on the other team. So Steve Kerr thinks he's a great defensive player, but Memo 2607, you don't think Kuminga's a great defensive player. Whatever. And the passing thing, well, I mean, look, 1 out of 3. And I don't even think Kuminga's a bad passer. He just puts up 2.2 assists per game. So if that's your critique, fine. But you Kuminga haters will find anything to hate on this guy, which is insane to me because clearly you just have a pro-Kerr bias, and shame on you for thinking that guy's some genius that you should just defer to with every decision. Yeah.
Can we talk a minute about Lacob again? Like,
please,
dude. So he's Mr. Lacob. Like, you're doing this shrewd negotiating thing. Venture capital, Silicon Valley. You guys all, Vivek, and you guys all knew each other. Your wives are probably in a reading group. Like, you guys are, probably in this social circle, Elon, like it's all like oligarch type stuff. So you probably have an opinion about yourself that you're doing good business. Like I talked about last week, you don't squeeze talent. This ain't an Amazon warehouse. This is the NBA. So like, there's that piece of it. This is bad business. You think the other agents, you think the draft picks, the elite wing draft picks are going to want to come here? Yeah. When we're rebuilding, I don't think so.
And that's another great point, Armando. Like, what kind of message does this send to prospective new players? Like what kind of message are you sending as an organization that, hey, come to us, we're going to lowball you. we're gonna use you as an asset and not treat you like a human being. But hey, come play for us because we're the Warriors. Well, like what's yeah, that's
dude. So, but the other thing is, Lacob, where was this mentality 6 months ago when you guys paid Jimmy Butler a contract that nobody else was going to pay? And that's why we're kind of in this mess right now. So you're telling, where's Mr. Shrewd business? This is what I meant by throwing shit at the wall. It ain't as planned as y'all think it is.
Yeah.
Because basically this is what happened last year. They started off great playing Kuminga, big minutes. Kerr went back to the 3-4 guard lineups. They start losing, and then there was a panic trade. So this isn't all business. This is a team that makes panic moves. They panic trade for Dennis Schroeder to try to get pods off the floor, but Kerr played them together. They kept losing, and then the big move was to go for Durant. They lined it up. Oh, we're such good businessmen. We got you, Kuminga. You're gonna fit right in here with Wiggins. We're gonna win the championship. The Phoenix Suns agreed to it. It was all good. And nope, KD is not coming to this mess.
And remind people,
no way, I'm not playing for that coach no more.
Exactly.
And then it's like, okay, plans out the window, and then it's a panic move to go to Jimmy.
Yeah.
That Kerr didn't. He's talking about how much he loves Jimmy. He hated Jimmy coming in. He was, that was reported. And the thing is, Miami Heat were trying to trade him for 2 years. So I'm bringing this back to Lacob. The Miami Heat had the opportunity to extend Jimmy Butler for $56 million a year. Jimmy Butler wasn't a hater of the Heat. If he would have been happy to stay and get a freaking statue outside that stadium. He was happy.
Wanted to get paid.
The issue was he just wasn't going to get his extension, which he knew he could bully another team into, bamboozle another team. Jimmy Butler straight up walked into that Lacob office and threw down the you-know-what, and Lacob said, okay, I'll give you whatever you want. And, the Warriors paid Jimmy Butler the contract that the Miami Heat would not. Their peer smart team chose to not give it to him, and the Warriors gave it to him. Okay. And now, so where's the light years negotiation there? And last week I talked about the Horford situation. The dude's leverage is retirement. Like you don't pay this whole thing with Kuminga to try to fit Horford the mid-level. Ain't nobody offering him that. And he's not, if you watched him play, he's a fucking corpse now.
Yeah.
If you think he's going to come in and save the Warriors, you didn't watch the playoffs last year. Dude let him retire if that's the leverage. That's a vet minimum guy. So you're not no shrewd negotiator that you think you are. So that's what I meant by throwing shit at the wall.
You're no, I wholeheartedly agree with you on that point. I saw something in chat that I just wanted to address real fast because it was just more. Here it is. Again from Memo 2607 saying Kerr is not a genius. You're right there, but clearly Kuminga doesn't do the things to get himself on the floor. I will strongly agree to disagree with you with the word clearly. You might be accurate in the sense of doing exactly what Steve Kerr wants him to do. But even then, half the time, I don't think even Kuminga knows what Kerr wants him to do. I will go back to 2018. All right, just real quickly here, because it's relevant to note way back then, 7 years ago, Western Conference Finals. This was a Golden State Warriors team trying to repeat as a world champion. This is the Kevin Durant Golden State Warriors. And the Houston Rockets pushed them to 7 games. The reason why they pushed him to 7 games was because Steve Kerr was playing Quinn Cook and Swaggy P over David West and JaVale McGee. Make that make sense. Make Michael Mulder, Brad Wanamaker make sense. Make Anthony Lamb make sense. There's so many personnel decisions with this guy. Like the only individuals who have ever enjoyed security under Steve Kerr is Steph and Draymond. Even Klay Thompson was going to get benched, and he said, I'm out of here. Screw this. He should have been benched, but it's still, it's the Steve Kerr part of this is lunacy. With all that said, Kuminga is willing to come back and play for him. That is not his issue. Now, a lot of people are wondering about the veterans, about Steph, about Dre, about Jimmy Butler, and why they're not getting themselves involved. I've got some information for you there, and we're going to get to that. First, got to give some love to our sponsors. and that includes the FanDuel Sportsbook. Armando, have you been following the WNBA playoffs? Because I think both semifinal series, which go best of 5, are tied 1-1. And I think there's one game happening right now, actually, the Lynx and the Mercury. So so I won't mention that line. Minnesota was favored by 3.5 in Game 3 of that series. The other series, we're going to see Game 3, Las Vegas Aces and Indiana Fever. Are you following it at all? Because I was going to read the line for that game.
No.
I appreciate your candor. The Vegas Aces are favored by 5.5 in that game, and you could bet on it with FanDuel. We just had a fantastic over-under show the other day where we read off every NBA team's OU line courtesy of FanDuel. We only got through half the teams. Next Tuesday night, the I-80 crossover with Mark Haynes will continue that and wrap it up. But FanDuel has so many incredible lines to choose from. It is a fun place to play. I just wish us here in California could enjoy it. Today's episode is also brought to you by Delete Me, which makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. Data brokers make a profit off your data. Your data is a commodity. Anyone on the web can buy your private details. This can lead to identity theft, phishing attempts, and harassment. But now you can protect your privacy with Delete Me. And in this day and age, with digital footprints being permanent, with your data like credit card information, social security numbers, routing numbers for your banking, an application like this has never been more pertinent and relevant. So take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me now at a special discount for our listeners. And I think this ends today or this weekend. Get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/pro and use the promo code PRO, P-R-O, at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to deleteme.com/pro and enter the code PRO at checkout. One more time. deleteme.com/pro. Use the promo code PRO for 20% off. Now, what's been reported, and kudos to Shams Charania for being the only person to get the detailed scoop of this private workout involving numerous Golden State Warriors players, allegedly every player that's expected to sign. They were all in San Diego this week, which according to the definition means a whale's vagina. I'm kidding. If you've never seen Anchorman, you're missing out. So everyone's there, reportedly, except for Jonathan Kuminga. And Kuminga's not there for numerous reasons. He's not going to risk injury. If he shows up, you're suddenly bending over a little bit with these very terse negotiations that are happening with the Golden State Warriors. So Kuminga's back in Cleveland at the compound there that his agent Aaron Turner has set up. But the question remains, why aren't they getting involved? Like, why isn't Jimmy Butler? Why isn't and Steph's clearly the biggest fish here? Why aren't they vouching for Kuminga this weekend? So today, supposedly the workouts are finishing up, or maybe they're done already. I have no information on those workouts. But what I do know is formally training camp starts Monday. This weekend, no one else is reporting this. So if you're here with Golden Days, kudos to you. This weekend, Steph, Dre, and Jimmy are scheduled to meet with Joe Lacob. And the expectation is that those three are going to tell Joe, F off with whatever stance you're taking in these negotiations. If he signs that qualifying offer, you are screwing us. Keep that in mind. When you have your opinions, when you have your beliefs, when you're thinking about all these negotiations and who's at fault, who should be culpable, if Joe Lacob lets this get to a qualifying offer, he is directly responsible for one of Stephen Curry's final seasons in his prime essentially going to waste. That's on Lacob. And that is going to be presented to him. Anthony Slater a few weeks back did mention that those three have Kuminga's back. I can confirm that. That was actually probably the biggest piece of information I got yesterday, which was just, to me, eye-opening, was just, how much does Steph care about Jonathan Kuminga? Answer, a lot. He likes him a lot. He wants Kuminga on this team. And this weekend, there's going to be a meeting with the veterans, with Joe Lacob. And if there is not a resolution out of that meeting, meaning if Joe Lacob tells his star Stephen Curry, sorry, but I'm not going to guarantee a third year at approximately $25 million because some of us have a fifth mortgage that we want to purchase for a lake house in Wyoming or Minnesota or wherever the hell. Like, you're screwing Steph over, and Kuminga's going to sign the qualifying offer, and this season is basically a wash. It might be entertaining in moments, but do not fool yourself for a second in thinking that Kuminga on a qualifying offer is going to translate to a smooth ride this season. It's going to be a disaster. And those three are going to meet with Lacob this weekend, and we can only pray that Lacob is convinced out of that meeting to give Kuminga what he wants, which, again, will not hurt the team. If anyone would get hurt by this, it may be ownership because they're spending $20-something million 3 years from now. I'm being facetious saying that. No one's going to get hurt by this. So this is where the negotiations stand. And if the Warriors don't give Kuminga that third year, what a massive mistake that would be. You're basically squandering one of Steph's final seasons by doing that. It's ridiculous. And this is all Joe Lacob. What are your thoughts on that?
Dude, so, I mean, through the whole year, you've had guests on your show, Sai, saying, like, Steph agrees with what's going on with up and down minutes for Jonathan Kuminga and not playing him with the best players, and like that they somehow tacitly agree with all this. And like, you know, just here, like like last week they said Jimmy asked Lacob, like, hey, what's the plan here? Like, Warriors fans, you guys are like not reading the news, like what's being told to you directly. The star player just asked the owner, what's the plan here?
Yes.
Like, that means it's kind of ridiculous. Like, this isn't about the second apron. This isn't about, you know, this is like out of some kind of weird business mentality derived from Silicon Valley venture capital that doesn't work in the NBA. Like, you don't squeeze the talent. I've been saying that for a while now. So, like, they're going to meet with him. And I think, like you've been saying for years, Draymond and Steph play their role. Like, they stay in their lane. That's like one of their core moral guiding principles. Like, and
I got that confirmed as well in my conversations yesterday, that because I asked that question as well with this insider. I'm like, what is like, because I understood. I've been informed repeatedly that Stephen Curry respects other people's jobs. Oh, you're a GM? I'm going to let you do the GM stuff. Oh, you're a coach? I'll let you do the coach stuff. I'm not LeBron James who wants to control everything. Stephen Curry stays in his lane, man. And I got another confirmation of that yesterday. But with that said, he wants Kuminga back. And I see this chat, or I see this post in the chat, despite this information coming out from Rodney Alvarez saying, trade this diva already, basically calling Jonathan Kuminga a diva. Are you calling Josh Giddey a diva? Are you calling Quentin Grimes, who's still holding out as a restricted free agent with the Sixers, a diva? Or maybe he's just fighting for what he thinks is deserved based off salary structures in the NBA, man. It's insane. I guess no matter what, people are just going to hate on Kuminga, no matter what the facts are, until, of course, he's a permanent part of the team. And then 6 months later, all these haters will pretend they never said a thing. But it's wild to me, man. It is wild to me, the sentiment, the feelings out there. Kudos to the Warriors propaganda arm, because they duped all legacy local media into thinking Kerr's this genius, and they've convinced all of them to consistently take a pro-Warrior stance. It's wild shit, dude. But the reality is Steph wants Kuminga. Steph, Dre, and Jimmy are meeting with Joe Lacob this weekend, and they're going to try and convince Joe to make Kuminga happy because they understand the value of Jonathan Kuminga. They know what he's going to bring to the table this year with Steph in one of his final shots trying to win a fifth championship. It's insane. And yet you still have people just saying, oh, it's Kuminga's fault. He's a diva because he's trying to get paid less than all of his draft classmates. It's wild shit, man. But that's the ignorance out there. Anyway.
I see a lot in the comments. It's a lot of people that obviously haven't been with us for a little bit this summer. Yeah. Like, so you guys, sometimes I think, oh, maybe I don't need to repeat myself on like, what's the basketball scouting report on Jonathan Kuminga? And apparently I do, because we're getting some of these fans that listen to certain podcasts and don't really watch the games correctly, even if you know how to watch it. Yeah. They might be a part of the NBA viewership decline, which I'm also happy to talk about. But for those of you in the chat, Jonathan Kuminga twice has played long stretches of winning basketball. He has contributed significantly to win now play that has gotten them in the playoffs. And after those 2 times happened, he was benched inexplicably, and they went on to lose. And I talked about last week, the whole elephant in the room with this is the 3 and 4 guard lineups.
Yeah.
In Jonathan Kuminga's second year, they were a loser team in the 10th or 11th seed all year long till the last 10 games of the season. Draymond comes back from his suspension, and they actually play them together. And Jonathan Kuminga was getting 25 minutes a game. He was averaging 14. He was shooting close to 40% from 3. I think he had one of the best effective field goal percentages of all time when he finally got minutes with the best players on the team. And they went 10-2. They make the playoffs, and he just got benched. That's when they lost to the Kings in the first round. His second year, or his third year, the last 30 games of the season, they went what was it? I can't remember now. I'm so like 21-8 or something like that. And they go from 10th seed to I think, so I'm kind of getting it mixed now, but I wrote a whole post about this. But that's the year he averaged 20 points a game playing next to Steph, Wiggins, and Draymond when they actually unleashed this thing. They went away from that. What you guys are just being fed something from the coach and the local media. You're not using your scouting eyes. He is a win now player right now. He was 3 fucking years ago. Okay.
4 years ago too. They won a championship when he was on the team starting games of the postseason. I mean, it's insane. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah.
If they play him big minutes with the best players, this team can go far. It's literally, it ain't some bench player like Kawakami saying, this is the fork in the road. If they don't get him, Jimmy Butler is going to play 57 games, which is what he's averaged for the last 7 years. Draymond, I mean, how many foreign centers is he going to play against? How many technicals is he going to get? Best case scenario, Steph plays 70 games. Is that the best case scenario, Si? I don't know, man.
65, 70, I would say.
Right.
My guess is Steph, Dre, Jimmy, and Al Horford, if he signed, again, that's an if. We have no idea what's going to happen here. Will not play back-to-backs. And I think the Warriors have 15 or 16 of those scheduled. So just keep that in mind. Like Steph will want to play all those, but if they're smart, huge if, they'll hold them out of those back-to-backs. So I'd say 65-70 would be without injuries would be a good guess.
Dude, Al Horford does not play back-to-backs.
Well, I know. Yeah, I know that. That's why I'm saying those 4 would not be playing back-to-backs. And that's where Quentin Post has value. That's where Jonathan Kuminga clearly has value. Like, and never mind. I mean, you're hoping none of these guys get hurt when they're all in their late 30s. It's very wishful thinking.
Dude, last year they went away from it and they did their little like we're gonna beat up on tanking teams with 19-2 and everybody. The wrong lesson was learned from last year. The very worst lesson that this 3-4 guard motion offense nonsense works. No. The lesson is when things got tough, they lost to the Spurs without Wembanyama. They lost to the Clippers. They would have lost to Memphis, but Ja Morant got hurt. And they barely beat a green rookie playoff team. It took.
By the way, Armando, M Mike 2 times in the chat is saying we sound delusional. M Mike 2 times. I put the link right in the chat. Instead of being a keyboard warrior, man up, come on the show, and explain to us why we're delusional and what we're delusional about, please. Invites welcome. So either be, a pussycat and keep hiding in there, typing away without being specific, or come on the show and we'll school you. Bad Hombre. Do you want to talk to him, Armando? I wasn't planning on a full audience participation show, but I don't mind if you don't mind.
I just love new ways to describe the same shit.
Bad Hombre, you're on the program. How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you for letting me come up, Cyrus.
Yes, sir.
Man, I'm so tired of this. KK can't play with Steph. Yeah. Well, for a 10-game stretch, they were the highest scoring duo in the NBA. I know 10 games isn't a big sample size, but I don't understand why Kerr couldn't look at that and say, hey, we can build on this. I'm gonna keep it real with you all, I went back and I looked at that Minnesota series. KK was giving Gobert and Ant-Man the business. I saw Gobert, you could look in his eyes. He wanted no parts of JK. And this is a defensive player of the year. I don't know what these guys are talking about. And like I heard, I think it was on your show, JK and KD were the only two Warriors forwards to average 21 and 5 in a playoff series. I don't know what these guys are talking about. I think they're just repeating what they read on Twitter. And it's a shame because this kid is a baller. And if you let him go, put it this way, if JK wouldn't have played the Minnesota series, Warriors would have got blown out every game without Steph by 30-plus points. He actually saved Kerr's job because if Kerr still went that deep route, the empty route, you're talking about 30-point blowouts every game. That's all I really wanted to say. So I'll just get back and listen. But great show. You all the only ones who keep it real.
No, bad hombre. That was awesome. A great take. I appreciate you, man. And I want to play this clip. Sorry, Armando. Did you want to say something?
Can I reiterate some of that stuff?
Yeah, of course.
Bro, like you're high. That was a great call. You're highlighting something. I've been on this summer trip talking about the regular season. JK has showed up when it matters. Dude, and do you guys remember? So he's talking about that Minnesota series. Young man was the best player on the court. Like people talk about Jimmy, he had that one good game and all those other games. The best defender was guarding Jonathan Kuminga.
Yeah.
And not Jimmy, but Jimmy Butler was getting the second best player on the floor. And if you watch that whole thing, they had Kuminga sitting in the corner. If they had actually run offense through him, he would have, I don't know how, he scored 20 points sitting in the corner. And that whole Minnesota series was just pods, end of shot clock pick and rolls, because that's what the most predictable fucking offense in the league gets you. But
by the way, Armando, here's another kook. T1 saying y'all drunk. No, we're actually sober. And again, the link's right in the chat. Stop being a keyboard warrior. If you think we're wrong, come on the show. Quit being you're a coward. Anyone who's not coming on the show to actually have discourse, you're just a pussy, man. You're just a little keyboard warrior who just wants to get your dig in, who loves consuming content from other Warriors shows that are wrong routinely, that's filled with other ignorance. Get your ass on the show and explain what you're trying to say, man, instead of just like these little dings that just have no specificity other than, I don't agree with you. I don't like what you're saying. You're criticizing Steve Kerr. I love Steve Kerr. Like, just get over it, man. Get on the show if you think you're smarter than us, or get on the show if you disagree and explain why you disagree. I want to add one more thing too, Armando, real quick here. Jeff Teague just yesterday, former player, just like every other former player, routinely defends Kuminga. The only people that criticize Kuminga are these fanboy shows that cover the Warriors. None of these guys have played. I call them fanboy shows because they're Steve Kerr fans, or Steve Kerr. And here's one other thing real quick. Where is this in the chat? Sal Paradise is asking, what is Kerr's problem with Kuminga to begin with? No problem. Steve Kerr's just weird. He's just weird when it comes to minutes. He's never been good at it. He got fired as the Suns GM for a good reason. He is just, there's something not there in terms of acumen when it comes to playing the right players at the right time. He has weird rules in his head. I think a lot of it is geared towards protecting Steph. So, for example, when Jonathan Kuminga decides, Steve Kerr, what you're doing here is ridiculous. I'm gonna score some easy buckets for us. And Steve Kerr gets pissed off and benches him for it. You know, that's because he's defending Steph, because he thinks Steph should be taking these shots, because he thinks the offense should be revolved around Steph. There is no personal thing there. It's just this is a massive weakness of Steve Kerr's. He's not great with personnel. By the way, and Zrock ZRO Keach 1 dropping $1.99. Thank you, saying my favorite show of the week, Armando Speaks Truth.
So I just want to highlight one other game that is seared in my memory. Go rewatch the play-in game that they lost, where they didn't, the season in Kuminga's second year, okay, they didn't even, or damn, I'm already forgetting which year. Maybe the year they didn't make the playoffs, where they lost.
That was year 3 of Kuminga. Yeah.
To the Kings in the playoff game, the play-in game.
Where Kerr afterwards was like, I wish I gave Kuminga more minutes.
Dude, that first half where they just relied on Clay and they were down, they were getting blown out of that game, okay, by an injured Kings team with with Malik Monk, De'Aaron Fox, and Kerr starts Kuminga in the half to play with the starters. And this was Cherio's point last night or 2 nights ago, the great caller, that Kerr goes to Kuminga when things get tough. He doesn't build off of it. Kuminga single-handedly got them back in the game. Yeah. In that third quarter, he explodes. And they would have won that game, but he just went to Anthony Lamb / 2023 Klay Thompson, which is the same person, and they gave him a bunch of shots and they lost the game. Yep. And like he has shown up in big moments. I need this guy on my team.
Well, again, what I'm sitting here telling you is Steph wants him, so you're gonna now push back against what Steph wants. Like, what are you guys thinking here, man? Like let's bring Desi on the show. Desi, happy Friday. How are you doing? Desi, you're live. You're with us. You can speak. All right. Well, I'll try you again in a second. Let's bring Satchin on the show. Satchin, how you doing?
What's up? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Yeah. So, I mean, this whole summer's just been a mess.
Yes.
I feel like more than anything, it's just been like asset mismanagement. Like, we had so many opportunities to trade Kuminga when clearly the coach doesn't want to play him. That's been established. So, I mean, you could have gotten Siakam, although he didn't want to come here apparently. So
yeah, so that's why I don't. Yeah, the one trade that keeps getting brought up, which the Warriors could have done and they shut down, was for Alex Caruso, and that was 2 years ago. The Siakam trade, again, Siakam didn't want to be here. So what are you going to do? Like, give up Kuminga for a 2-month rental? I mean, that didn't make sense.
Exactly, yeah. And like basically this whole situation has happened because the front office and the coach, they're just disconnected. Like, either you trade him or you play him.
Yeah. And
like you're just not doing anything. So that's why you're stuck here like September 26th and you have 9 players on the roster.
Dude, media day is usually such a celebratory event, and they usually like let media know ahead of time, like, okay, this is the schedule. Well, it depends on the year. Some years they just let you know what it is. We still have no idea what's going on with media day. Like the communications department of the Warriors is lost right now. Everyone in that building is lost because nothing is moving forward until this Kuminga situation is resolved. This is all on Lacob, man. I don't know what Lacob's doing. I'm not a mind reader. I don't have his number. Rick Barry does. I should ask him to text Joe, but I have no clue what's going on in Joe's mind other than he's always rolled like this in terms of contract negotiations. He doesn't like handing money out. Draymond Green routinely settled for less than what he may have gotten out in the market. Stephen Curry's the one guy that's gotten these max deals, no problem, except there was a problem. And we learned that a couple years ago. And that was the first time I kind of like stood back or took a step back looking at Joe like, whoa, man, you really are I don't know if frugal is the right word. I keep using shrewd. I don't even know if that's the right term for it, but he does not hand out dollars without making you feel tortured in the process. Klay Thompson would not. I mean, that negotiation didn't go well either, right? I mean, whether or not you felt it was justified, Joe was not giving him the money that he wanted, and Klay's gone. Joe Lacob is a gnarly negotiator, man. That's if there's anything that we could take from this factually, like without any dispute, it's that this is all Joe Lacob. For whatever reason, he just doesn't like just handing out money. And look, it makes sense to a certain degree, but this is a nightmare. I mean, give Kuminga his 3rd year, man. What are you doing? Sorry.
If they lower the money a little bit and just guarantee the 3rd year, will he take that, the Kuminga? Like, I don't know.
My understanding is like right now the terms, what it's going to come down to is 3 years, 75. I don't know if Kuminga would bend if they don't make it a player option. Like, let's say you just make it no option. It's just a 3-year, $75 million deal. I don't know if Kuminga would agree to that. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But what I do know is the team option is a hard line no. He wants the player option for year 3, and 3 years, 75 is the figure I think it's going to come down to.
Okay, no, because like for the Kings, he wants what? Like, what's the offer? If he gets signed and traded to the Kings,
it was less. Yeah, it was like 3 and 60 something. Yeah,
you just lower it slightly, and then you just sign him that contract, and you could probably trade him. But my thing is like at this point, I think you just got to trade him right now, because like it's just gonna be like just.
But really Satchin, here's the problem: if you try and trade him now, you can only bring back half the value. This
Yeah,
is
that's
why that's what's made this so complicated. You can like if you trade Kuminga, let's say you do a sign and trade, and it's for that Kings deal, right? Let's say it's 3 years, $60 million. So you're trading him, and he's going to make $20 million next year. You can only bring back $10 million. So you might so what are you going to get for $10 million from the Kings? That's they're going to blow your socks off. Probably nothing, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
So for the Monk deal, like you would have to give up either Buddy or Moody, right?
Exactly, and they don't want to do that either, and I don't blame them.
Right. Okay.
You know,
I didn't know that.
I mean, why not just guarantee the third year? Problem solved.
Yeah, they should do that. I think that's what's gonna. I think they're gonna do that because
I think so too. I think that's what it's gonna. But Joe is just making this so hard, man. Like it's Armando, you don't have to raise your hand, brother. Just jump in.
Dude, the caller said the phrase asset management. I want to point something out. In Hollywood, when a big movie studio comes out and the actors or the director talks shit about the movie in the thing where they say, oh, it's a bad movie, or they don't necessarily agree with the vision. Sometimes that happens. That actor or that director gets blackballed. They're not a part of no studio movie ever again. What did Steve Kerr do at the start of this offseason? He went in the media and badmouthed the team's main and only asset. That actually happened.
Yeah.
That actually happened. And that means, so I'm saying, even if Steve Kerr hates Kuminga, or not even personally, he just doesn't want to play him, he doesn't believe in him, whatever, that's fine. But as an employee of your organization, you need to come up with a lie. Like, dude, how easy would it have been him to say, hey, he was injured. We didn't have time, but he's a great player. And as soon as I get time, we're going to integrate him. And he's so good. And I love it. Like, that's the line you got to take. They don't have control over this guy. They don't have control over him. This organization is split. Y'all talk about this organization like it's this single mastermind brain. It is not on the same page. That's what's leading Steph Curry's end of his career.
We have Frank B in the chat saying it has to be 375, no options for the Dubs to be able to trade him in December. I don't know what that means. And then James in the chat saying, what kind of a-hole are you to even mention the offer? I don't know what you mean. Like, are you calling me an asshole because I mentioned numbers? I don't follow James. And again, the link is there. If you want to come on and elaborate, please. Otherwise, you're just yet another keyboard warrior with just a stupid opinion. Satchin, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's the clear option is just to give him the team option and trade him down the line. And it doesn't make sense. I mean,
or just keep him. Why trade him? I mean,
they're gonna trade him though, because it's just not gonna work out. I don't think he could fit on this team. Like, it's been established with the coach and with the player, it's just not gonna fit.
I'm sitting here telling you the opposite, Satchin. Where are you getting this from? I'm sitting here telling you Steph wants him. The veterans want him. Kerr wants him. Why do you think they don't want him? Where are you getting that from?
No, I'm just saying, with Jimmy on the roster now, it's just not going to work. There's no way this
Agree to
guy
disagree. Agree to disagree. I don't agree with that premise, man. I think it could work fine. The players themselves have said publicly they think it could work fine. There's only one person that has taken issue with it, and that's Steve Kerr. Even he is saying that it's going to work. He will figure it out. The spacing issues. Hey, look, you're talking about Dre, Jimmy, and Kuminga playing together, and the spacing issues that causes. Those spacing issues are gone when you surround those three with Steph and a second shooter, whether it's Seth, whether it's Buddy, and you're completely disregarding the vertical spacing that unfortunately Steve Kerr also routinely disregards. Nonetheless, the vertical spacing is a positive. You have athletic players who can attack the rim, who collapse the defense, who create space for your two other shooters on the floor, in this case being Steph and either Buddy or Steph and Seth. So I don't agree with the premise that, and Moses Moody, who's been working on his three all summer, and I like his three-point shot. So I don't agree with this premise you're presenting that these three don't work on the court together. That is a Steve Kerr argument based on what we've seen on the court. Steve Kerr's even willing to bend behind his own rigid rules that he made up in his head, which is insane.
I'm a little confused, Cy, because do people have, it's like the goldfish memory aspect of the Warriors fan base. The talk was Kuminga was playing exclusively with Steph Curry. He could only play with Steph Curry. He was in there all the time. Like the previous caller was like, those pick and rolls was killer. Okay. Then during that time, the talk was he can't play with Jimmy. They play the same position. That I don't know what to do. I can't do it. Then Steph gets injured. The greatest shooter of all time, meaning they have less shooting on the court. Kuminga goes in and he does excellent with Butler. They kill it. They're both averaging in the 20s. They almost win the games, but Pods is shooting 10%. That's why they lost. Okay. And then in the middle, right in the first game when Kuminga went off and had that he went 9 for 9 cold off the bench in a fucking playoff game. That night, Steve Kerr leaked to the Ringer that the reason he was benched was because he cannot play with Steph Curry, and he looked Steph Curry off in a Portland Trail Blazers game. That got leaked that night, the night that Kuminga did well. That's the ego on this man. Okay. And then the talk became, oh no, it's not Jimmy that he can't play with. It's Steph that he can't play with. That's you if you follow along closely.
And Satchin, one last thing before I'll let you obviously respond, man. But one last thing real quick here. The future is a thing. It's a variable to consider, right? I mean, with anything related to team management, you're not just focusing strictly on the present. You got to think ahead a little bit. Otherwise, you set yourself up for disaster. Steve Kerr's not going to be here forever. Jonathan Kuminga has a far longer future at 22 years of age. He's turning 23 in a month than Steve Kerr. So, so even if the issues continue with Kerr, this could be the last year for all we know. It could be 2 more years. But Kuminga, the plan is hopefully you have him for the next 10, 15 years. You know what I'm saying? Any final thoughts?
Okay, so I understand it can work. That's not what I meant to say. What I'm saying is with the current coach, it's not going to work because he has a certain style that he wants to play, and Kuminga obviously has his style that he wants to play. So my point is the coach goes or Kuminga goes, and with Steph and Draymond on the roster,
I agree with you. I agree with you. It's not going to work with the coach, and what the coach plays instead is not going to work. They're not going to win with Jimmy playing with 3 guards. It ain't going to work.
I agree.
They're going to lose just like they lost this year. That's why I'm betting under. That's what I've been telling you.
You gotta pick one side or the other, and this whole thing of just not really picking a direction is what's screwing you over right now. So.
But again, I got to repeat, I got to emphasize this, Satchin, because it's important. Kuminga for the last 2 years has been playing like a very young man. He was a minor for part of this, right? Again, he's only 22 now. He was playing like a man who did not have any securities long term. If he gets this deal, this 3-year, $75 million deal, his only priority in life is going to be making Kerr happy, making his teammates happy. And I'm not saying that wasn't his ethos in previous years, but the distraction of, am I going to get a contract extension, did exist. And that is a distraction, man, especially for a young player who's simply looking for some financial security. And that's gone. That impetus, that distraction, whatever you want to call it, will no longer be an issue. Kuminga is ready to be whatever Steve Kerr wants him to be, but he wants some money. He wants the money represents a sign from the team that we want you, that we value you, right? Because if you don't pay, if that's how life works. Salaries represent how a company feels about you. If a company doesn't pay you, they don't value you. And in this case, that's what Kuminga is asking for. Pay me like somebody that you value. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I think the problem here is if they pay him right now with everything that's been reported throughout this entire summer, it's to trade him. They're using this salary slot, to trade him down the line. And that's why I think it's not going to work for anybody. Because you told me about the whole, like, you could only take half back, right? So the reason
for this year, yeah, right now.
If they sign him this contract right now, then they could take the full salary back, right? Outgoing. So that's my point. I think right now it's not even about him fitting and winning with this team. All they're trying to do is just to get rid of him. So that's what I think.
And I'm sitting here telling you, Satchin, that is not true. That is not true. You're literally assuming that is your opinion, and I'm sitting here telling you that's bullshit. That is not true.
So you think with Kerr on this roster that Kuminga is going to last the whole season if he signs his 3 years?
Yes. Easily.
I think he's
Why do you
fine.
not think that? Just because of your observations, Satchin?
No,
Just because you fucking think you watch the game better than other people? What are you basing that on, man?
Dude, I'm just telling you. Look, this guy's a 4-time champion. He's not a saint.
So what? That means nothing. That means nothing. Continue on.
No, dude. Kuminga. The problem with Kuminga that I have with you, with your assessment with him, is if he just did the stuff that Kerr wanted him to do, he would have played him. Kerr does not have some type of like agenda that he doesn't want Kuminga.
You don't know that. You're assuming all you're saying. Every one of your words, Satchin, are assumptions. You're not saying anything that is factual. You're assuming that Kerr's going to do shit. You think because Kerr has 4 championships, you assume that he has like these delusions of grand. Dude, stop with the assumptions, man. That is not logical. Approach this thing logical, brother.
That's what I'm doing right now.
No, you're not. You think you are, but you're not.
Okay, so what I'm saying here is, and again, I'm going to be out of here soon. If Kuminga just did the stuff that Kerr wanted him to do.
Like what? Give me an example. Give me an example.
Dude, like, okay, if he was on the floor and he was rebounding at a higher rate or defending at a higher level.
See, that's okay. That's where you lose me, man. His rebounding number solid. He's when he plays Satchin, I gotta mute your fucking dumb ass because you're pissing me off. When Jonathan Kuminga plays 30 minutes or more, he grabs over 6 boards a game. He averages 22 minutes a game in his career. His per 36 numbers show he's a solid rebounder. He grabbed nearly 5 rebounds a game this last season while playing just 24 minutes a game. So stop bullshitting me, dude. I'm going to drop you really fast if you keep this fucking illogical crap.
All right, but I'm just trying to have a debate here. All I'm saying
No, you're not. You're trying. You're literally perpetuating assumptions. You're literally repeating talking points. Nothing you're saying is logical. Nothing. And you're gaslighting with that rebounding bullshit because Kuminga actually does grab boards.
Okay, all I'm trying to say is.
What are you going to say now? That's either gaslit or an assumption. Because that's all you're fucking giving me so far. You're really annoying the shit out of me, man. Either be logical or get the fuck out of here, man. Like, be logical, meaning say things that are objectively true, not things you think are true. Does that make sense?
Okay, one last thing. Do you think Kuminga is better with the ball in his hands running an offense or off the ball?
I think he's fine either way.
Really? I think he's better on because like the Minnesota series, he played phenomenal, right? But he was the main like guy leading that team. He was the main scorer. So my point here is I think for him to succeed right now, I think he should go to a different team. That's what I'm saying.
Easier said than done. The how of that is Satchin. The how of that is where it gets complicated. And in the month of December, when he actually was starting games and for a full month, he averaged 30 minutes or more, he still put up over 21 points a game, and he was not the primary ball handler. So the Minnesota series is not the only sample of him actually producing. There's a lot of examples, and he doesn't always need the ball. Like, you just sound like someone who's been like influenced enough to just hate this kid and refuse to hear anything else.
I'm not saying he's trash without the ball. I'm saying where is he better? That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? Just play the kid and everything else will work out. Don't play the kid. You get this kind of shit. A 4-year mess. That's what I'm saying. Give him minutes. Things will be fine. Don't give him minutes. We get this bullshit.
Yeah, I think you should play him 100%.
That's all I'm ever saying, man. Just play the damn kid. That's it. And Steve Kerr's too fucking obtuse to understand that basic concept. Desi, are you back? All right, Desi, you had 2 shots. Alan, you're on the show. How are you doing?
You're frying these guys.
Well, I didn't look. This is a sad part, Alan. This is a sad, and I don't know if Armando, if you understand this as well. This is a very frustrating thing that I'm seeing in life, man. College develops critical thinking skills. I'm starting to realize as less and less people go to college, less and less people are going to understand concepts like what is objectivity? What is an empirical fact? What is an assumption? What is an opinion versus something that's actually true? Less and less people are understanding these very basic concepts, man, as evident by that caller right there. And yeah, I sometimes
I
take that
hear you.
easily.
I'm
not accusing you, man. Yeah.
No. I'm not a fan of the talking points. And if you notice, they just came around once Kerr started saying that. And so now all of these guys believe that Kerr is this mastermind, this genius of some sort, that he knows basketball better than everyone. And let's be real, this guy had no coaching experience.
None.
He had no
Right.
coaching experience.
Absolutely
So
right.
he's coming in a borrowed system. It's not the Kerr system. It's a borrowed system that he brought with someone else. I'm claiming Alvin Gentry. Alvin Gentry brought this system to the Warriors, a borrowed system, and all of a sudden, if you're over 6'3", you can't play in this system. Get the hell out of here with all that. In fact, this 6'3" guard crap, it actually just happened like 5 or 6 years ago. 5 or 6 years ago. You know what, 5 or 6 years ago? That's when they were getting Bob Myers up out of here. That's when they were trying to feed him up out of here. Bob Myers was a fan of 6'7" wings with 7-foot wingspans. That's what he was. That's and who can handle the ball. Steve Kerr, he's a 6'3" guard merchant. That's who he is. He want guys like him. Okay.
And real quick, this is some more ignorance. I'm going to call it all out at this point. Dubs fan 72 saying, I like JK, but if he was that guy or star player he thinks he is, he would have been starting already. Strongly agree to disagree. The only person who did not think Jonathan Kuminga is starter level is Steve Kerr. That's it. Every former player understands the value of this guy. The only person that, for whatever reason, just does not value Kuminga is Steve Kerr, sadly, and he's the one making all the calls with minutes. And so now you have this influence. I call it an inherent bias, meaning anything Steve Kerr says or does, you immediately have half the fan base thinking that is truth. Just because Steve Kerr
it's
said
nutty.
It's insane.
It's nutty. It's nutty.
It is,
so
man.
If this
It
guy
is.
So since this guy is not a superstar and he's not good enough to start, help us understand why Anthony Lamb and Lindy Waters and Potts are starting. Help us understand why these guys are starting.
Brad Wanamaker, Michael Mulder, Quinn Cook, Swaggy Pete. And that's just off memory. I guarantee in 2 seconds I can pull up a lot of names of people. Lindy Waters, you mentioned that. Started playing over Moses Moody last year. But Steve Kerr's a genius? Get the hell out of here, man.
Most of these guys are not even in the league.
Get the hell out.
These guys are not even in the league anymore.
Yeah.
Like unreal, dude. A-Rod won. I am not on Kuminga's payroll. I'm just tired of the ignorance, which is everywhere when it comes to covering the Golden State Warriors. This media market has failed miserably in terms of covering the Warriors because all they do is parrot Kerr. All they do is anything Steve Kerr does, they agree with. That's not reporting. That's not analysis. Yet that's sadly how so many people are being influenced. I'm not on Kuminga's payroll, A-Rod. All I want is logic and reasoning in my life. And once upon a time, I felt like humanity was striving for that. Not lately. Sorry to interrupt you, Alan.
Yeah, but you know it's real because these are the same guys that say, "Hey, take the deal, take the deal." Like what? How are you? What do you mean take the deal? It's a negotiation. That's how you know they're speaking from the Warriors' talking point. No, kid, negotiate, negotiate. Don't just take the deal. Are you crazy?
Hey, brother, can I ask you a question?
What's happening?
When you watch the games and you see them with 3 guards out there, and sometimes Moses Moody at the 4, like, how do you see that translate to the legs, the fatigue level, the defense, the shot making ability? Like, what do you see when you see those 3-4 guard lineups out there?
When I see 3 or 4 guard lineups, I instantly think that these guys, there's no one out here that's going to defend. How are you going to defend with that? How are you going to defend with that? I mean, you're putting yourself, not only are you putting yourself in foul trouble, and all we're going to do is cry to officials that we're not getting our calls because these guards, these small guys are scrapping for every piece they can and getting the team in foul trouble in the bonus all game. It's because you're too darn small. You can't really fight realistic with 4 guard lineups because Moses Moody is a power forward all of a sudden. What the hell is going on here?
God, you
What the hell
remember
is going on
you
here,
remember that
man?
quote of his where he was like, well, on this team, 2, 3, 4, they're all the same. It's like, no, they're not. No, they're not. Jesus Christ, dude. What are we doing here? No other coach is playing Wiggins or Jimmy Butler at the 4. No, like is Spo doing that with Wiggins right now? Like, am I missing something? Is Wiggins playing the power forward position?
Since when is Jimmy Butler a power forward? Since when is Jimmy Butler a power forward?
Oh my God!
Nobody says anything.
Man. It's insane, dude. And we have comments like these, like just Natsu saying if enough people wanted Kuminga starting, he would have started already. No, Steve Kerr is the shot caller, man. And again, what I've said, you're right about this. He's actually, this person, you might be a she, I don't know, is right about one thing. And I've said this before. If the fans who are at Chase Center started letting it be known, you're right. If they started booing Steve Kerr, for example, you started yelling, fire Kerr! Like if you had stuff like that, you're right. But the fans are so complacent, man. Like they're just there to drink their wine. Like they turn into what Pac Bell or Oracle, whatever it's called.
You never know, because you remember when the fans were crying. They were crying to get Moses Moody in the game because remember, Moses was giving Kerr and the media hell. We don't hear about that. You remember Moody was the first one that spoke up.
Right.
Like,
yes.
I don't like it here. Mm-hmm. I don't agree with Kerr. I don't believe in him. It was Moody first. It wasn't Kuminga. It was Moody who was like, hey, I think I want to get the hell up out of here. Yeah.
And the media was all on that year, all about, oh, Moody's such a good citizen, but Kuminga's selfish. All this kind of like Kuminga's.
You know what it was? You know what it was? They knew that they knew they had Moody. They knew that he was going to sign that contract. And you know what I believe? I hate to get in these guys' pockets, but I believe the Warriors offered Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga the same contract. Moody signed. JK didn't, so they gave Moody minutes for signing that bull-ass contract, bro. That's what happened.
He got bamboozled.
That's what happened.
They all got bamboozled.
Paul Allen, right, by the way, in the chat saying that Jimmy Butler played a lot of the 4 in Miami. I don't recall that, but you might be right. I don't know, but I don't remember it. And I remember those runs that the Heat were doing, making it to the finals in 20 and 23. I don't remember Jimmy playing the 4 a lot in those postseason runs, so unless I don't know what I'm missing there, but anyways, Alan, any final thoughts, man? Before we go, I want to start making things a little more positive. I hate myself when I get riled up like that. I'm never proud of it, but nonetheless, I want to get a little more positive to get back into the swing of things. Alan, what are you doing for the weekend, man? Any big plans? Anything with the kid, your family?
The kid has a baseball game on Sunday, so we're excited about that. He's always hyped up to play some ball, and so that's the plan so far. I may try to get to not scary farm. I don't live too far from there, so we'll try to get maybe some a scary night out.
Nice. And Twin, by the way, Twin Empire in the chat. It was a new Golden Dazer. Welcome. I'm so glad you found us. Bringing up that it's so crazy because when Gilbert Arenas said this a year ago, it was such a cynical take, and yet it came true. It's so wild, man. And in case you folks are unfamiliar with what Gilbert Arenas said, he said that the Warriors were going to mess around with Jonathan Kuminga's role in minutes this upcoming season to get a leg up in contract negotiations, to have leverage and try to lowball Kuminga this offseason. And goddamn, can anyone push back on that right now? I mean, it was such a borderline dark take because it means there's like conspiracies going on. But dude, I can't say that he was wrong. No, he was 100% right. And it's not like it's the first time. It's part of the NBA business. Teams know, they forecast these contracts years out. So they know the guy's just probably going to cost a lot. And what's your name again, bud? I missed it. What side the calls here? Oh, Armando.
Armando, you mentioned that the league is driven by wings, right? You win with wings. And so the Warriors knew that they had 2 wings. They forecasted these wings out years ago, and they knew that around this time it was going to cost them a lot to keep Moses Moody and JK. So what do? You suppress them. You have to. It's part of the business. It's not the first time. They had success with Moody. but it crashed and burned in their face with Jonathan Kuminga, rightfully so. And from a PR standpoint, Looney came out and he's like, you know what, these guys do bad business. You know, these guys do bad business.
Alan, you brought up the fact that Moses Moody, within 24 hours of when Kuminga publicly complained, Moody also did. They both basically put out trade requests, right? But and the only mistake Moses Moody did was who I don't know who his agent is. I'm sure you can find. I think Basketball Reference has that information. But whoever his representation is, instead of going to shams like Kuminga and Aaron Turner did, they went to Jason Dumas, who was a local TV reporter, and no one picked that up. It's that's it. It was just Shams was one reporter. Jason Dumas, who's not even in the Bay Area anymore, he's in Philly now, I think. That reported the other one, and so no one picked up on it. It
makes sense. It makes sense because Moody is with Clutch, I believe. So that's their East Coast base.
Oh, so really? He's a Clutch guy? Well, I don't know if he was then, but yeah, for whatever reason, Jason Dumas was the only guy that picked up on that story at the time. And yeah, Moody was not happy either. And anyways, Johnny in the chat saying that Steve Kerr copied Phil Jackson. But what are you referring to exactly, Johnny? Are you referring to keeping player minutes down and lowering their contract value like that? I'd like some specificity there.
It's probably referring to the system.
You're probably right.
Yeah, that's probably what's going on here. But I'll leave you with this. I do not believe if Moses Moody name is presented in a potential trade to the Kings, I believe that he would want to do that. I believe he wants out. There's no way Moody is happy in the Bay right now. Zero.
Yeah, I get it. No Moody's a perfect example of give him the money and at least he'll shut up and play. You know?
Oh yeah. I mean, man, come on, man. He's from down there. I'm from St. Louis. He's from like Pine Arkansas, Bluff somewhere, right? Not too far away. Yeah, I think he's from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Not a few hours, not too far away. Those country guys, take some money. He'll be all right.
Alan, you were awesome as always, brother. Have a great weekend. Armando, I'm sorry. I'm not. Am I stepping over you?
No. I just wanted to like people hear me hate on the 3-4 guard lineups. I always look like what's the logic in that? It's not like a crazy person. Like they have a reason they're doing that.
Why are you trying to justify that, dude? You're making sense. Don't worry. Like 3-4 guard lineups are asinine, dude. There's the only person who thinks it's a good idea is Steve Kerr. That's
the reason Steve Kerr thinks it's a good idea is because of dribbling. Like he thinks that that's some kind of skill you need.
Passing. Yeah.
And that the goal of winning in 2025 is to get up more threes than the opponent. That's the strategy he has. So the thing is, when you play Moses Moody at guard or Gary Payton at off guard at the 2 guard instead of power forward and small forward, they're unleashed defensively. You don't when I see those guys actually play with wings who magnify each other, it's deflection city. It's turnover. It's the game is hard for the other team. The other team doesn't make threes because the game is harder. They're actually playing against athletes. That's what it's like to play against athletes. When you're playing against 3-4 guards, the game is easy. It's like playing against chairs, little kids. You're comfortable. And it may not look like he would want it to look. It may not look like dribble, pass, chuck a 3 at the end of the shot clock, which is his vision of good offense. It won't look like that. It will look ugly in Steve Kerr's words, but it will be winning basketball. There is more than one way to win in the NBA. And the way Steve Kerr's doing it, it ain't it. They're not winning.
There you go. Good stuff. We'll finish up the show with a Camelot fire Kerr. I just hurt myself.
Yo, how y'all doing?
Again. Anyone out there?
Can you hear me?
What's up, dude?
What's up?
Cyrus is amazing.
Yeah,
Cyrus,
man. It's
big penis. Ooh, I like
crazy.
Yeah. I like this. Cyrus is right. Cyrus is right about everything. Dude, I love this caller. Armando.
Can y'all hear me? Or nah?
I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry, dude. Can you turn your device down? Whatever you're talking about.
Hello.
There you go. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Yeah, this shit is just crazy. For the past couple of years, Kerr got us in the play-in, not making the playoffs. Any other coach would have been fired, at least on the hot seat. The media does not talk about this man. When we was winning, when we was unstoppable, they was always talking about Kerr not being good, this, that, and the third. Charles would talk about him. But as soon as we start getting bad, they let that shit go because they do not want us to run this league like Steph can do. Why the fuck is Pod starting? He needs to be on the bench, period.
He will be. He will be this year. I'm confident of that. That's why I love the DeAnthony Melton signing. That's also why I love the Seth Curry signing, because I'd rather have Seth playing than Pods, and
Definitely.
Kerr's not going to mess around with Seth. That's a huge reason why I love the Seth Curry signing. I know some people aren't that thrilled about it, but I am.
No, I don't know why we bringing GP2 back. He did his time. Let him go somewhere else.
I know.
We need to get a wing, not another guard. He cool on defense every 10, 15 games or so. But other than that, we do not need that man on this team. Draymond needs to be ready to come off the bench and let Kuminga do his thing. But it's crazy when Moody was not getting no minutes until he signed that weak-ass, small-ass contract. His agent is horrible. I love what JK agent did, and he out there, because everybody thought, oh, Kuminga turned down 150 or Kuminga turned down 100 million. No, they didn't even offer him nothing. But that's the narrative the fucking media was pushing for Kerr. Like
I heard, and again, I said this earlier. I heard. I'm not saying this as a fact. I heard this like secondhand, but that Kuminga did get an offer last year, but it was barely above what Moody got, and there's no chance in hell he's going to sign that. If you're the Warriors, I don't know why he would. It's like at a certain point, certain offers do insult people, right? Like that's part of negotiating too. You don't want to you don't want to come in with such an egregious offer that you just turn the other person off immediately, and that's what the Warriors did. It made no sense.
Man, you're speaking truth, caller. I missed your name.
Armando, I rock with you because I found Sign. I'm like, this is the only person that keeping it real. Jim Park a little bit, but now he be going crazy. He lost me, but I appreciate you, Armando. I've been trying to find your podcast, whatever you do.
I'm glad you found us. I'm glad you found us, man. I am.
Sure, like
this is like
it does not make no sense. Kerr already said he's going to retire when Curry leaves. He better not get an extension. He shouldn't have got the last fucking extension. That shit shocked me. I was mad as hell. There's no reason that Kerr should keep riding Steph Curry coattails. I kind of wanted us to lose the fucking Olympics, but I didn't want to wish that on Steph.
Okay. Camelot, thank you. And real fast, just not that many F-bombs, please. I only ask people of that because of YouTube. At a certain point, they do get pissed off about it. But thank you. Camelot was on fire. Armando, any takes before you finish up with Desi?
Yeah, dude, I like that caller a lot. Part of me, I love doing this show out of just from my time because it brings in the people that see the game the way I see it, and it's kind of cathartic. Like, because it's like the other day, we're sitting here watching the like crazy Pods 35 minutes a game, loser basketball, and it's like, am I out of my mind? Like no media says anything about this. So like I know there's fans out there that see the game correctly, that know ball. And so it feels so good when you get callers out there like that. Right. Like, damn, okay, I'm not crazy.
And on that note, let's bring Desiree onto the show. Desi, a lot of pressure. You're following some amazing acts. Hello. How you doing? What's on your mind?
I had a few points I wanted to talk about because I'm sorry my mic was tripping, but okay. I think the contract negotiations, one part that I want to specifically talk about was I feel like the contract it's a fair contract, but he's probably worth more on another team. I feel that the reason why we're getting for another team with another offense just set up for him, he's definitely going to be worth more over there. But I feel here, because I watched the video, I don't know if you guys know this coach called B-Ball Breakdown.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. Broke down. The guy has a massive Kuminga bias. He's that dude is insanely pro-Kerr, anti-Kuminga. As evident last year, he made a video where he blamed Kuminga for Wiggins blowing that defensive assignment at the end of a game for an easy layup. He blamed Kuminga. So, and I called him out for that on Twitter. I'm like, dude, what are you doing here, man? Like it's so blatantly obvious. Like you have an agenda here, and that's to support Steve Kerr. And unfortunately, I've been seeing that video make the rounds on Twitter, at least. I haven't seen it on Threads. But anyway, sorry to interrupt you, man. Go ahead, Desi.
Yeah, I saw the video. I mean, we could agree to disagree, but I feel like.
Well, what did you see that made you think? What was in the video itself?
One thing I noticed was like specifically in the video was the problem with the offense, the motion offense Steve Kerr implements, and Jonathan Kuminga. And I don't want to say that like he's a low IQ, because he's not low IQ. He has a good feel. I feel like he's good at it, but I feel like all the picks, the screens and stuff, I feel a more simpler offense for JK suits him best. And as we see, I know B-ball breakdown, I don't know if it's correct or not. He's trying to trying to say that like Kerr is getting mad at some points, and there is some parts where he like you could see Curry a little. I mean, not Curry a little frustrated with some of the parts. It's noticeable, but still, I'm thinking that the screen and roll, the picks, like where you have to get Curry the ball. That motion offense is just not.
Desi, real fast. The play you're talking about, where Steph gets frustrated, I saw that clip too. It is not. There's no way you can say for sure that Steph was annoyed with Kuminga. Was he? Did he show frustration on the court? Yes. Was it obvious because of Kuminga? I'm nowhere near that. Like it could have been like I don't remember who else was on the court for that play, but I did not see that and think, oh wow, like Steph's mad at Kuminga. I saw that. And it could have been like the turnover upset him. It could have been the ref upset him. Like he was upset about something. I'm not sold that it was Kuminga, but we can agree to disagree. Go ahead.
No, I mean, it's not as visibly frustrated. But I'm talking most people, like most of the clips. Curry's like pointing to him. Oh, pass the ball to here. Do this, and we see a tendency in the video. I'm not saying that's the truth. I'm just saying what I saw from the video that I know. He likes to go to the ISO ball.
Guy, yeah, and then like Coach Nick or whatever. Like again, him and I have had exchanges. I don't respect him like at all. Because he has a very clear agenda. Like he is making he has publicly said he thinks Steve Kerr is a genius. He has publicly said that if you don't think Steve Kerr is like the greatest coach out there, that there's something wrong with you. He believes that, man. And I've said this before, just because someone coached once upon a time does not automatically mean they're an expert, man. It's plenty of shitty coaches out there, plenty. Like it's actually kind of sad how many bad coaches exist in all sports. But just because you have that on your resume alone does not make you an expert on something. And I thought that was very tacky on his part to release that video today. Like you couldn't have waited till next week. Like you're literally trying to take money out of Kuminga's pocket. Like what's your problem, dude? Like, anyways, I started to go off on that.
Yeah, but one thing I found, like, maybe we could agree to disagree on this, but one thing I found interesting was one stat he brought up about the non-rim paint shots, and what I found interesting was that it's the shot that most like the new modern NBA call like the worst shot, the mid-range. Because if you aren't perfect at it like KD, you're not gonna be. It's not the best shot to take. It's either take the three or the paint. Yeah, if you're not like Shea, it's not the best shot. And I'm not saying Kuminga can't make that shot, but I'm saying these people in the Curry offense, that shot is not wanted, and that shot is not something they want. So, in Kerr's perspective, like I understand the problem with Kuminga because he can't shoot, first of all. And we have Jimmy Butler and Draymond. I know I say this point a lot of times, but it does need to be said that Jokic, he has 4 shooters on his team. Anthony Edwards has 4 shooters, but the greatest shooter of all time, he has to deal with 3 non-shooters on the same lineup. If people are proposing a lineup with JK, Kuminga, JK, Jimmy, and Draymond, Steph, and Horford, another spacer, whoever, I hope you guys are really like devaluing the importance of spacing. Spacing is key. We can't be out with 3 non-shooters.
You've said that before. But are you factoring vertical spacing? That's a thing too. Okay,
and vertical spacing.
Vertical spacing is important too. And if you're not, look at every one of these title teams. Andrew,
who's going to space vertically? Who's that player on our team? We don't have a vertical.
Kuminga. He's the only one, and that's why if you don't play him, you have none of that on the court. And that's been a massive issue for this team. You could argue that's the reason why the last 3 years they've underachieved. Vertical spacing is insanely important, man, whether it's for easy buckets. And I don't what's up?
Spacing is more important than vertical spacing. And vertical spacing is better with the big, honestly. Well, you don't want that from a wing, honestly. You
could argue, Desi, that the OKC Thunder do not win a championship until they addressed that vertical spacing issue, meaning until they got centers who could actually give them easy buckets, who could play defense and grab big boards. they were not winning championships. They made that pivotal move, and then they won a chip. The size is important in the game of basketball. And whether that size is a 7-footer, whether that size is a 6'7" athletic wing who has insane hops, whatever that is, vertical spacing is very important. And the Warriors always had that until these last few years. And for some reason, Steve Kerr has just stopped pretending that vertical spacing is an important variable, man. Like, you look at the 2022 championship. OPJ at 6'8" was starting games in the NBA Finals, right? 6'8". Bielitsa at 6'8". Those guys were getting real minutes, and they had talent, and they were oftentimes scoring very easy buckets. Never mind Klay Thompson being 6'7", Iguodala 6'6", 6'7". Pajewski's not giving you that at 6'4". D'Anthony Melton's awesome, but at 6'3", he better not be closing games on a routine basis. Vertical spacing is important, man. And what Armando keeps saying, I wholeheartedly agree with, is 4 guards, 4. Like, even 3's too much. And when we see 4-guard lineups, that can't work either, man.
No, I agree. Size matters, and Curtis said he's not playing Draymond at center. So the fan base like talking like, 3-guard lineups, 4-guard lineups. Like, I don't think we're not going to be seeing that anymore. So I don't think that needs to be a point that like needs to be like reiterated. I mean, unless you're trying to bash Kurt, yeah, you can bring that up, but still. And I have to ask you this: you think vertical spacing is more important than like actual spacing out the floor?
I don't just go either or. That's not how I think. Like, to me, it's all on an individual basis. It depends on each individual player. Like there are plenty of championship teams who do not have the type of horizontal spacing you think is vitally important. Like, I don't think the OKC Thunder last year had the type of spacing that you think is absolutely necessary. I don't think the Celtics had that. I don't think that the Nuggets had that. Like, is it important? Yes. Is it the only thing? Hell no. But Kerr oftentimes treats it like it's all or nothing, and that's where him and I have a very clear difference of opinion.
I don't know. We might be saying different, but most of these teams, they have these shooters. Like the Nuggets, their whole lineup is damn near 4 shooters. It's MPJ. What's the name? Aaron Gordon. Jamal Murray.
Aaron Gordon was not a 3-point shooter. He was not a 3-point. They won the championship. Be genuine here. Be genuine here. When they won the championship, Aaron Gordon was not putting up threes. He only started doing that the last year or two after they won that championship. Bruce Brown is not a lights out 3-point shooter. You had Jamal Murray. Shooter. What's that?
Christian Brown is a 40% 3-point shooter. He's a good shooter. Correct me if I'm mistaken, but he's a 40% shooter.
I said Bruce Brown. I said Bruce Brown, not Christian Brown. And look at the Celtics the year before that. Do you look at Jaylen Brown as this lethal 3-point shooter? I mean, to me, talent wins out. Whether that talent is, elite at shooting, whether that talent is elite at getting to the bucket, your goal is to score more points than the opposition. That's my John Madden line right there. But to get those points, I don't care how you do it. If you're doing it as a lethal outside shooting team, great. If you're doing it as a team that's an inside out team, great. But 4 guards, 3 guards, man, like that's
no. I mean, I agree with you with the 4-guard thing, but like I don't want to keep saying this, but like the main point is just like, you say like, okay, vertical spacing, and I agree vertical spacing is important, but vertical spacing really just impacts the center, just 2 defenders in the paint. Oh, that's it. Spacing in general impacts the whole defense. That's what I'm trying to reiterate. And with Steph, Steph is just an amazing player. He creates so much open looks. So when we get those open looks, the shooters got to make the shots. And if you're having 3 non-shooters, and JK and Jimmy, their isolation game is so similar, honestly. I think Jimmy's better at isolation.
Desi, we can agree to disagree that Kuminga is a bad shooter. I don't agree with that. I don't know if you think Jimmy Butler is a bad shooter. Jimmy Butler is actually an elite mid-range shooter. I also don't like the concept of mid-range shooting being phased out. I don't like that. I don't think it's you need that to be successful. Klay Thompson is an awesome mid-range shooter. Stephen Curry is an awesome mid-range shooter. It is not an either-or premise to me, like you're making it sound like, where you either have to be like a 3. And the vertical spacing thing defensively, in case you haven't noticed, teams shoot from the 3-point line with ease when they play the Warriors. Vertical spacing also makes you more elite defensively. You can block shots easier on the perimeter. Draymond Green does not run out there anymore, right? In case you haven't noticed. So he's borderline worthless now defensively in a large regard. So you need someone to play those Draymond minutes. That's another role for Kuminga this upcoming season. Like Desi and Armando, please jump in if you have thoughts on this, and we're going to wrap it up. I know you got to bounce, Armando. We've been going very long, but Desi, to summarize here, do you want Kuminga gone? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, but if he's on the qualifying offer, yes, I want him gone. Because the drama, the chemistry, I don't want any of that into the season. This is we got this season, next season of prime Curry, and we got Jimmy. I don't want to waste it.
And brother, you're finishing up the show perfectly, because if Kuminga signs that qualifying offer, you're squandering one of Steph's last years. You can't move him if he signs that qualifying offer. He has a no trade clause with that qualifying offer. Do you see how disastrous that would be?
Yeah, I'm in the Armando. Yeah.
Armando, go ahead, man.
Yeah, no, Desi, I hear what you're saying tonight and what you've been saying the last couple of weeks. I appreciate you pointing out that Kuminga being a bad fit because of the spacing issue, and that you need spacing to win in the NBA. I appreciate that, and I agree that you need spacing to win in the NBA. I think the next week I want to address this point more in depth, because when I talk about 3-4 guard lineups, it's not just the fact that they're small. I've been trying to reiterate how it affects shooting. And there's a reason I knew all along that Pods and Buddy Hield's 3-point shooting was not going to hold up in the playoffs, and they were going to shoot like shit when the games got real. And those are the kind of things that I look at, and I would love to talk more about the guys that Kerr does play, that they're not good shooters. And I think we should have an extensive discussion about what spacing actually is practically.
Yeah, and I think we all can agree that qualifying offer is worst case scenario, dude. Like Kuminga is just not an easy player to trade. Bottom line. So, the idea of moving him, it's borderline unrealistic. It's one of those things where you idealism versus pragmatism, right? The ideal approach is, let's trade him and hopefully get something of equal value. The pragmatic approach is you can only bring back half the value. A lot of teams know the Warriors have virtually no leverage in a trade, because Kuminga could easily sign that QO and be gone in a year. And if he signs that qualifying offer, very good chance he's gone by December, and not because of a trade, since he has a no trade clause, but because he's going to shut himself down and save himself for next year. That is an awful scenario, and you can call Kuminga whatever you want with that kind of approach, but sometimes you do need to look out for yourself in this world. And I don't blame Kuminga for taking that approach. If your employer values you that little while hypocritically painting you as having a shitload of value in trade talks, you're not being treated well. And I don't blame him for wanting out. But hopefully this gets resolved this weekend, brother. Desi, we got to bail. Any real quick final thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with your last point about overvaluing him in trade talks, but undervaluing him in contract negotiations.
It's crazy.
I just, at this point, I was thinking differently a day before. I was just saying, okay, let him do the qualifying offer, but now just guarantee the year at this point, I guess, and just get him. I don't want any drama. The main thing is just no drama. He's a wing. He's all right. He's not. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I just don't want him. I just don't want extensive minutes with him, Jimmy, and Dre. That's just what I don't want. He's a great player. He's good. $25 million is low key cheap. And if we could trade him, I just want that 5th chip. That's all I want. And that's it.
All right, Desi, thank you, brother. You're always fantastic, even when you push back on takes. Real quick in the chat, just have to answer this real fast because I don't like leaving things sitting out there. St. Patty saying Draymond Green, first team all defense, but he's basically worthless on defense. Maybe I was a little hyperbolic saying that, but look, Draymond Green did not win Defensive Player of the Year last year, largely because his game started to tail off toward the end. And that Minnesota series, I'm not going to ignore that. Julius Randle made him look worthless. Julius Randle did not look like a player being affected in any regard when Draymond Green was on him. He was scoring at will. None of us have ever seen anything like that until that series. And Draymond routinely now gives up on chasing 3-point shooters. He does. I don't think I'm imagining that. There are a lot of plays where he backs off and he dares the player to shoot the 3 like they used to do 15, 20 years ago when that was the norm because three-point shooting was not as efficient as it is now. So Draymond, at his age, he's going to turn 36 this year, takes an approach defensively where either he's going to let you shoot that three or he's going to body up on you, but you could probably blow by him if he gets up close. That's a liability, man. Draymond is starting to become a liability. It's concerning, and that's one of many reasons why Jonathan Kuminga is so important to this, because he's likely going to start over Draymond. He's likely going to start taking a lot of the minutes and the role that Draymond has, and the Warriors, I think, are screwed if this qualifying offer happens, man. They really are. Any final thoughts, Armando?
Yeah, man, I want to address that spacing point. You know, the call, I like that caller. He pushes back, and it allows me to go deeper. You know, when I see spacing, three-point shooting the Warriors are playing, it's stuff that's not going to hold up in the playoffs, and I could see that going on in the regular season. There's a reason why Draymond hits threes in the first quarter but cannot hit them the rest of the game. It's because defensive energy affects your legs.
Yeah.
And so when you're playing three guards and you're having to clean up for Buddy Hield, who's the worst defender in the league, it affects your shot. So all these things are connected that I talk about. That's why it's not just size. Okay. So let's talk about it some more.
Yeah. And a paid chat as well from Brooklyn Opinion saying that the caller, Desi, was not addressing bad small ball. And again, let's not mistake the Warriors these last 2-3 years versus any of those title winning teams. There's small ball and then there's hobbit ball. What we've been seeing for the last 2-3 years is hobbit ball. These 3-4 guard lineups, GP2 at the 4. God, those GP2 minutes were killing me last year, man. And that's one perk, by the way, if Kuminga signs a deal for $25 million. They won't be able to afford GP2.
So if this weekend it gets signed, the deal gets signed after there's a meetup with the main players, dude. Like, man, I'm gonna be thinking about what you dropped today. Honestly, this little like mini camp that the players supposedly had, they're not playing ball. They're just drinking wine in Jimmy's cellar. Like it ain't like that. You guys
I don't know,
getting bamboozled, man. Like, dude, they're playing. They're trying to figure out how they're gonna come at Lacob. That's what's going on at the mini camp.
Well, look, if the news drops this weekend. Anything happens, we'll go live, clearly, but regardless, you know where to find us Fridays. The professor. Anything new on Sprewell Was Right? Like, you mentioned your cousin dropped something new, but was it not on your Substack?
No, I just post my cousin's thoughts. He was going off on the corpse that is Al Horford. He watched all of the Celtics playoff games last year. Warriors fans, you are fooling yourselves if you think he's going to be unlocked on the Warriors, dude. Like, this guy is an 8 to 10 minute player who plays power forward. He can't even play center no more. So my cousin was going off on that, and I shared that on Threads. So
oh my God, dude. I mean, Horford's projected to be the starting center, and you're sitting here saying with your analysis that is not his spot. I don't like that,
man. I don't know, what are we doing here? You got to watch the game. They don't watch.
What we're doing.
Like he played well against them 3 years ago. Is that another case of this? A guy plays well against them, and so then they're all in. Are we doing that again? I think we are.
And so you still have this kind of shit, man. CJ saying nobody wants Kuminga, let him go to the Kings. That's bullshit, man. He's already had interest in trades. No one had cap space this season to make a move. You're going to get a lot of teams interested next year if he signs that qualifying offer. That's such an egregious take, man.
Yep.
But I'll laugh at that point. And Paul Meadow adding they're drinking big face coffee and playing dominoes down there. I don't know. All I know is there's going to be a meeting this weekend, and what comes out of that, who the F knows. I really hope there's a resolution. I've never experienced anything more frustrating than this offseason when it comes to covering the Warriors, and that's saying something, man, because this Steve Kerr era, I'm a little surprised I still have hair, truth be told, because this guy drives me so crazy with just the endless nonsensical moves and decisions he makes. And then you have, on top of that, half the fan base and all the local media fawning over him despite that. It's a lot. It's a lot, man. It's crazy. So I appreciate the audience for rolling with us. I appreciate you, Armando. You can catch us for Friday. I didn't see you with a cocktail today, by the way.
Yeah, not today. Not today.
You're clean on that that note. Is there going to be libations this weekend, or is it going to be a dry?
Tonight. Tonight. We're gonna hit the steakhouse tonight and have a bottle. just like Jimmy and Draymond and Steph.
There you go. By the way, did you see? We never touched on this. Draymond headlocking some dude in China. Did you see that? Who was wearing some guy? He went to China for that one-on-one thing. Who knows how that went? But some fan that he was messing around with in this exhibition was wearing a Jordan Poole jersey, and he puts him in a headlock, dude. And he was being facetious. It was all in fun and games. But I feel like if you're Draymond, like you got to be a little careful about things like that. You know, like I don't know, man. This is it always stays interesting with the Warriors. That I feel like you can be sure of. And Armando, people can follow you on Threads at Mando_man10. We'll go live if anything happens. We appreciate all of you. Are we done? Anything else?
That's it, man. Good show. Brother.
Great show. And stay tuned. Thank you to the audience for your loyalty. We'll always appreciate that. And we're back soon. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.